Hello students, welcome back to HB Kapadia School. Myself is Kunal Pandya and this is my introduction, and today's topic is relative velocity. So today we'll study about relative velocity, and it's a very large topic and we'll stick with the NCERT. Okay, so please concentrate, and if possible, if you have the NCERT, please open the NCERT and we will study about the relative velocity. So here comes the relative velocity which is given in our textbook. Okay, yes, you must be familiar with the experience of traveling in a train and being overtaken by another train. Imagine, suppose this is a train. Let me draw a train. It may not be look like a practical train, but still we have to imagine as if this is a train. This is one train. This train is moving in like this direction. Okay, the train is moving in this direction. Okay, now if another train overtakes this train, okay, so this is a train A, now another train B, it is similar like that. If it overtakes this train, this is a train B. Imagine if it is overtaking, this is a train B, it is overtaking from the same direction, while the train must be traveling faster. See, in this case, the train, if train B is overtaking train A, it means that the velocity of train B must be faster than that of the velocity of A. Okay, so with respect to a person standing in B, the train A will be a bit slower, and with respect to a person standing in train A, the speed of B will be larger. Okay, now but with respect to a person who is standing outside these two trains, imagine like this is a person and the velocity of A is suppose 150 km per hour, velocity of B is suppose 160 km per hour. So for the person in train B and person in train A, the difference in velocity is just 10 km per hour, but with respect to a person standing outside these two trains, for this person the velocity of train A will be 150 km per hour and velocity of B will be 160 km per hour. Okay, so in such cases the relative velocity is different for different people. Actually it depends on which reference frame the person is sitting. So therefore it's very necessary to derive a formula for relative velocity, with the help of which we can find some numericals. So let's see. Yes, consider two objects A and B which are moving uniformly with velocities VA and VB. So VA and VB are the two velocities. If you have NCERT, this is there in the NCERT also. So VA and VB are the velocities of object A and object B. They are moving in the same direction, that is along x-axis. Okay. Yes, it is unless other specified. The velocities mentioned in this chapter are measured with reference to ground. Okay. Here when we are saying that the velocity of A is VA and velocity of B is VB, it means that the velocities are VA and VB with respect to ground is good. It goes without say. So if XAO and XBO are the position of A and B initially, or we can say the position at time t is equal to 0. So actually here it is mentioned, like we can also say it is position when time t is equal to 0. We can say XO means position, it is a position at time t is equal to 0. Okay, it is the position when time is 0. And similarly XBO is a position when time t is equal to 0, that is they are the initial position, and after some time the position changes and the final position becomes x at t. Okay, this is the final position. We can say position at time t. If we are talking about A, then we have to write xat, and if we are talking about B, we have to write xbt. Xbt will mean that we are finding out the position of B at time t. Now we know that the speed, the formula of displacement, okay, I can write displacement is equal to, or we can say the standard formula, velocity is equal to displacement upon time. Okay, velocity is equal to displacement upon time. We have discussed this thing in our previous lectures also. So velocity is equal to displacement upon time, so therefore we get displacement is equal to velocity into time. Now displacement means the change in position. Okay, so we can write it is a position at time t minus position at time t is equal to 0, that is equal to velocity into time. So therefore the equation of position will become x at t. Let me write it over here. I'm writing down the next equation over here. Therefore the position at time t can be given as, if we take x at 0, over here we get position at 0 plus vt. So this is the standard equation for finding out the position at any time. So if we talk about a, then we can write x a t. It means is the position of a at time t, and that is equal to x a o plus v a t. So over here, if it is x at t is equal to x at o plus v into t. For a, we can write it will be x at a, and over here also we have to keep a, and it will be the velocity of a. So this is how we can write down the equation of xa, and similarly we have the equation of xb. So these two are the equations of xa and xb. They are quite important. So with the help of this equation, we can find out the position of a and b at time t. Now the displacement of object a with respect to b, after some time if it changes its position, and if you want to find out the displacement of object a to that of b, we can write xba, that is position of b with respect to a, can be given as xb minus xa. It is very simple formula. Now keeping the value of xb, see the value of xb is this much, this is the value of xb. So let me point it out in a proper manner so that you can understand better. Let us use a highlighter. So this is the equation of xbt, and the value of xbt is this one. So instead of yellow, we are keeping this value, so we'll get this is the value, sorry, not the value, we are just keeping this value over here. And similarly for xbt, sorry, this is the value of xat, this is the value of xat, and we are keeping this value over here. So if we put these two values in this equation, then in this equation the xoa and xbo, okay, we can take them in common, or we can say we can take them aside, and we can write this equation in the form of vb minus va into t. Okay, now let's see further. This is the equation 3.13 itself. Now this is xb, that is the position of b with respect to, position of b initially, this is the position of a initially, and this is what, this is the velocity of a b with respect to a. So in that case we can write this is vb minus va into t, that can be said to be the velocity of b with respect to a. So we have the formula of velocity of b with respect to a as vba is equal to vb minus va. And similarly, if you want to find out va minus vb, we can use this formula. This is the formula of velocity of a with respect to b. So once again, this is the formula of xba at time t. This is the formula of xba at time t. So I can ultimately write, this is xbat. Let me write this equation so that you can understand better. We can write xba, x position of b with respect to a at time t. We got the equation position of b initially minus position of a initially plus vb minus va into t. Actually we got this equation, and we are comparing this equation with the standard equation of x, which we have derived over here. I will wish you should write this equation and compare the equation with the next slide. Pause the video, write this equation. The position of a at time t, this is the position of a initially, and vat is the velocity of a into time at time t. So if we compare this with equation 1, like x at t is equal to x at o plus velocity into t. Okay, so if we compare these two equations, then we can have this Vt, or just V we can say, is Vb minus Va. Okay, this is the equation of V. Okay, so ultimately we can write over here, if it is VBA, just a minute, yes, if it is VBA, then we are getting Vb minus Va into d, that is the velocity. So therefore this velocity actually will be of velocity of B with respect to velocity of A. So velocity of B with respect to A is equal to Vb minus Va, and velocity of A with respect to B is Va minus Vb. Just remember, when we are finding out velocity of, like velocity of x with respect to y, then just remember x comes first. We have to write Vx minus Vy. So here we are talking about velocity and not speed, so therefore the sign will matter. Okay, so let's see next. Now let's consider some special cases. Case number A. In the case number A, if you see it properly, then there are two velocities, velocities of A and velocity of B. We have done this thing in our lecture specially dedicated for graph. See, if you find out the slope of graph of A and graph of B, then it is found that the velocities of both will be equal. Okay, so if velocity of A is equal to velocity of B, velocity of A is equal to velocity of B, it means that velocity of A with respect to B will be Va minus Vb, and that will give answer to be 0. So in this case the answer will be 0. So over here we can see the answer we are getting. This answer is 0 in this case. Why? Because the velocities are equal. If you are not getting this Va is equal to Vb part, then you can go to our previous lecture. I think that lecture which was there on 27th May, and you can see 2 lectures back we have found out the slope of these two graphs, and with the help of slope we can understand that velocity of A is equal to velocity of B. Now let's take the second case. In this case, see, the graph of A is greater than the graph of B. This was the question asked by me to you people in our previous lecture. Some people have got the answer. So in this case, we can say if this angle is theta 1, let this angle be theta 1, theta A, and this angle is suppose theta B, then obviously from figure we can say that theta A is greater than theta B. The value of theta A is greater, so therefore we can say tan theta A is greater than tan theta B. Therefore we can say velocity of A is greater than velocity of B. Okay, so if we find out the velocity of B with respect to A, velocity of B with respect to A, then we can, it will be Vb minus Va, and that answer will get the answer to be negative. So this thing is written in the first line of this case. See, we have this case, sorry, oh yeah, in the first line we can say, see, Va is greater than Vb. Why Va is greater than Vb? I have given that answer in our previous lectures, and the velocity of A is found to be 20 meter per second. We can find out the slope of that graph and see the velocity is 20 meter per second, and similarly the velocity of B is found to be 10 meter per second. And if we find out the relative velocity, we'll get Vb minus Va, that is 10 minus 20, and we'll get minus 10 meter per second. So that is velocity of A with respect to B. Okay, yes, velocity of A with respect to, let me make this thing clear. We are finding out velocity of A with respect to B. The velocity of A is found to be 20 meter per second, and the velocity of B is found to be 10 meter per second. So velocity of B with respect to A will be Vb minus Va, that is a 10 minus 20, and that will give minus 10 meter per second. So in this case, over here in this case VBA is found to be minus 10. So last answer is for VBA, and similarly if we find out VAB, will get positive answer, that is plus 10 meter per second. So this was the second case. Now let's see the third case. Okay, in the third case, once again we have discussed this graph. I have given the value these values to be found out in the homework. So over here we are getting the velocity of A, that is VA, to be, we can find out with the help of finding out a slope. If this angle is theta, we can say tan theta is equal to VA is equal to tan theta, and that is equal to length of opposite side is approximately found to be 30, and the time is 1, so we'll get 30 meter per second, that is velocity of A. And similarly, if we find out the velocity of B, we can take directly this slope, that is angle B theta. We can take any slope for this line. So tan theta will give the velocity of B. The tan theta will be negative, and that value will be 40 by 4, that will give 10 meter per second. But in this case, the velocity will be minus 10 meter per second, as the slope is found to be negative. Okay, and sorry, yes. Now let's see the relative velocity over here. The relative velocity is found to be, I can add a relative velocity. Sorry, this is just 30 approximately, it is not mentioned properly, and this is a 10, 30 to 10 we get 20, so therefore velocity of A will be 20 meter per second approximately, and velocity of B will be minus 10 meter per second. So therefore velocity of A with respect to B can be VA minus VB, that gives 20 minus 10, that gives 30 meter per second, and velocity of B with respect to A will be VB minus VA, and that will be minus 10 minus 20, that gives minus 30 meter per second. Okay, so these were the three special cases for a relative velocity. Once again, over here the value at which we found out the theta for velocity of A, this angle is theta. So this much distance is not exactly 40, but it will be somewhere between 20 and 40, and we can take it to be 30. So therefore we got velocity of A to be 20 meter per second. Now let's solve some numericals which are given in our NCERT textbook, which are important. This is example number 3.2. We have done differentiation in our previous lectures, so this numerical is on the basis of this differentiation. So the equation is given to be x is equal to a plus bt square, where a is 8.5, it's mentioned, see a is 8.5 and b is a 2.5. So the equation ultimately will become 8.5 plus 2.5 t square. This is the equation of x. Now what we want to find out is what is the velocity at t is equal to 0 and t is equal to 2 seconds. So we want to find out velocity at t is equal to 0 second. Again velocity at t is equal to 2 seconds. So first of all, let us derive the equation of velocity. Velocity is equal to dx by dt. The differentiation of x, or we can say the differentiation of position, gives velocity. So we can write v will be d by dt of 8.5 plus 2.5 t square. I will be directly writing down the answer because I have already taken much more time to for the differentiation. So this will give 0 plus 5t. So the equation of velocity will become 5t. This is the equation of velocity. Now when time t is equal to 0, obviously when time t is equal to 0, the velocity will be 0. So for first case, what is velocity when time t is equal to 0? We can say the velocity will be 0. For second case, when time t is equal to 2 seconds, when time t is equal to 2 seconds, we can keep 2 over here. We will get 5 2s are 10. So the answer will be 10 meter per second. So we got two answers. You got two answers. I'm writing down over here. So velocity when time t is equal to 0 second is 0 meter per second, and when it is meter per second, and when it is 2 second, we got velocity v is equal to 10 meter per second. So these are the two answers. Now the next question is, what is the average velocity between t is equal to 2 second and 4 second? We want to find out average v. Average v means this is average v, and that is equal to delta x by delta t, that is the change in position with respect to time. Change in position, we can say it is the position at 4 second minus position at 2 second by 4 minus 2. Why I am taking these values? Because it is already told over here what is the average velocity between 2 to 4 seconds. So we have to take the span of displacement from 4 to 2 seconds. So average v will become, see, x at 4 means position at 4 seconds. So this is the equation of x. Over here, instead of t we'll keep 4, we'll get 8.5 plus 2.5 into 4 square minus 8.5 plus, sorry, it will be minus 2.5 into 2 square. So at first we have to keep the value of t to be 4, and in second case we have to keep the value of t to be 2 seconds. So this is how we can take t is equal to x at 4 and x at 2 divided by 4 minus 2. So that will be your homework. Find out these values with the help of calculator, of course. The answer is found to be 15 meter per second. Actually this will get cancel out, 2.5 into 16 and 2.5 into 4. Just do it and tell me the answer in comment section. Let's see next numerical is example number 3.4. It's quite important. A ball is thrown vertically upwards with a velocity of 20 meter per second. So a ball, imagine this is a person. This is a person throwing a ball in vertically upward direction. The ball goes in upward direction. The initial velocity is found to be 20 meter per second. So u is equal to 20 meter per second. Yes, the ball is thrown from the multi-story building. So imagine this person is standing on a multi-story building. The height of the point from where the ball is thrown is 25 meters from the ground. So this height from where the ball is suspended, sorry, ball is thrown in upward direction is at a height of 25 meters from ground. So the question is the height of the point from where the ball, sorry, how much high will the ball rise? Okay, we want to find out the height up to which the ball will rise. So I'm not satisfied with this diagram, so therefore I will draw it again. This is a person and this is a ball. He's throwing the ball in upward direction, ball comes down. Actually it will traverse the same path, but in order to show the path of the ball, I'm drawing like this. Actually the path will be like this. If the ball is exactly thrown in upward direction, we will go like this and it will come in the same path and it will go down. But to make things clear, I have shown the graph, sorry, shown the trajectory like this. Yes, we want to find out the height up to which the ball will rise. So we want to find out this height. How long will it be before the ball hits the ground? We want to find out this total time for ball to go from point A to point B, suppose B to again C and then D. We can divide the whole trajectory like this. Okay, the ball goes from A to B, then B to C, and then again C to D. So we want to find out the total time taken in this case. So first of all, let us find out height, part A. How high will the ball rise? Okay, see, imagine the ball is initially at this position. Its initial velocity is given to us. That initial velocity is u is equal to 20 meter per second. When the ball rises, when ball reaches the highest point at point B, we can say its final velocity will become 0. If its final velocity becomes 0, we know the initial velocity, we know the acceleration due to gravity, which is given to be 10 meter per second square. So from all these data, we can use this formula, v square minus u square is equal to 2as. The final velocity becomes 0. Initial velocity is 20. We can take 20 square is equal to 2. Acceleration is due to gravity. We can take 10 into distance curve. We want to find it out. See, in this case the acceleration due to gravity is opposing the motion of ball and it is in downward direction, so therefore we'll take negative sign. Actually ball is retarding, that its velocity is decreasing, so therefore we have taken negative sign for acceleration. We can also take negative sign over here, it doesn't make any difference. Yes, this is negative sign. Yes, this minus sign will get cancelled out. We'll get 400 is equal to 20s. So we'll get s is equal to 20 meters. So this is our first answer for part A. For part A, just the question is how high will the ball rise? So the ball will rise to a height of 20 meter from the top of the building. Okay, you have to mention from where it is going in upward direction. Okay. Now let's see part B. How long will it be before the ball hits the ground? We want to find out the total time. So I'm deleting all these things. We want to find out the time. So let's find out the time. We know that the equation for s, or we can write velocity v, is equal to u plus at. So therefore final velocity becomes 0, initial velocity is 20, acceleration is minus 10, and we want to find out the time. So therefore time will be 2 seconds. Which time is this? This is the time for just for the ball to go from point A to point B. Now where is point A? I'm pointing out for you people. This is point A and this is point B. Okay, we have found out the time for the ball to reach from A to B. If this time is 2 seconds, see, this time is found to be 2 seconds. So for the ball to reach from point A to point B, the time taken is 2 seconds. Similarly, we can say for the ball to come from point B to point C, the time taken will be same. So therefore this time is also 2 seconds. Okay, so the time taken by the ball to go in upward direction is same as that of the time for the ball to reach back at the same position. So for point A to B and for point B to C, the time taken will be 2 seconds plus 2 seconds, that becomes 4 seconds. Now let's see part B. Sorry, let's solve further. This is of course part B, not part A. This is part B. For point A to B, we found out the time is 2 seconds. Similarly, from B to C, again time will be t is equal to 2 seconds. So ultimately for point A to point C, you can write from point A to point C, the total time will be 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 seconds. The numerical is not complete yet. So we got the time for A to C, and their time is found to be 2 plus 2, that gives 4 seconds. Now let us just find out the time taken for the ball to go from point C to point D. See, the initial velocity with which it is thrown in upward direction is found to be 20 meter per second. So just remember, when the ball is thrown in upward direction with some speed, then it will come back to our hand with the same speed. The speed will remain constant. Okay, the direction of velocity will be in opposite direction. The magnitude of velocity will remain same, or we can say the speed will remain same. So if you are throwing a ball in upward direction with the speed of 20 meter per second, then the ball will come back to your hand with the same speed. But remember, this is possible only when we are neglecting the air resistance. Okay, in absence of air resistance, these things are taking place. But practically what happens when the ball is going in upward direction, and when it comes back to our hand, it faces the resistive forces, and as a result its velocity decreases slightly. So but over here we will consider the same velocity, because these are the ideal cases for our kinematics, or we can say mechanics portion of our syllabus. So we are taking the ideal condition in which the air resistance is not there. So initially when the velocity is 20 meter per second, okay, so the same velocity will be there at this point also. At this point also that velocity will be 20 meter per second. So just for part C to D, we can say distance covered S is equal to ut plus half at square. This is a common equation. Therefore distance covered, see, from point C to point D, we know that distance is 25 meter. We can write 25 is equal to u. Initial velocity is in downward direction, it is 20 meter per second. We can write 20. into time taken, we don't know, we want to find out the time taken, plus half. What is acceleration? Acceleration is 10 into t square. Now we solve these things. I'm deleting this diagram. If in case you have missed, you can go a few seconds back and see the diagram. Yes, so we can write therefore 50 is equal to 40t plus 5t square. If we take 5 common, we'll get 10 is equal to 8t plus t square. So therefore we can write t square. I think there is some mistake. No mistakes there. We can write t square plus 8t minus 10 will be 0. Therefore, okay, we can also directly write like this. Is something wrong? Yes, we can write 25 is equal to 20t plus 5t square. Therefore 5t square plus 20t minus 25 is equal to 0. Therefore t square plus 4t minus 5 is equal to 0. So we factorize this thing, then we'll get t is equal to minus 5 seconds or t is equal to 1 second. This thing is never possible because negative answers are not possible. So for C to D, we got time t is equal to 1 second. For A to C, the time taken is 4 seconds. So total time will become 4 seconds plus 1 second, that is 5 seconds. Okay. So don't forget what we were finding out. Once again, this is the point A, this is point B, this is point C, and this is point D. We got this time to be 2 seconds, so therefore it goes without say that this time also will be 2 seconds, and this time we got it is 1 second. So total time will become 2 plus 2 plus 1, that is equal to 5 seconds. Okay. One more numerical, that is a 3.18. This is the numerical of our NCERT exercise. This is a numerical based on relative velocity. A police van moving on a highway with a speed of 30 km per hour. You can say velocity of police is 30 km per hour. Fires a bullet at a thief's car which is speeding away in the same direction with a speed of 192 km per hour. This is the velocity of thief. See the difference in velocity. Police are driving with a speed of 30 km per hour. Thieves are traveling at a speed of 192. It's very high, but don't worry, this policeman have a gun and he fires a bullet, and the speed of bullet, velocity of bullet is 150 meter per second. We want to find out the speed with which the bullet will hit thief's car. Okay, we want to find out the velocity of bullet with respect to thief. What velocity of bullet will thief experience, that we want to find it out. So first of all, without wasting time, let us convert this kilometer per hour into meter per seconds. 30 kilometer per hour, we can convert it like this: 30 into 5 by 18. How 5 by 18? Let me explain you. 1 kilometer per hour is equal to 1000 meter per hour, means 3600 second. That gives a 10 by 36 meter per second, and that will give 5 by 18 meter per second. Okay, so 1 kilometer per hour is equal to 5 by 18 meter per second. We can write it like that way also. So 30 kilometer per hour will be 30 into 5 by 18, and 30 into 5 by 18 will give 8.33 meter per second. And velocity of thief will give 53.33 meter per second. If we convert it into meter per second, this of course it is in meter per second, no need to convert. Now imagine, have you ever seen a bowler bowling a ball? Yeah, I mean fast bowler bowling a ball. When a fast bowler bowls the ball, initially he runs with the maximum speed he can and throws a ball. So when a bowler is running with a speed like imagine just with Bumrah, he himself is throwing a ball remaining stationary on the crease. Imagine he's just stationary, he's not in motion, and he throws the ball. That velocity of ball is found to be 100 kilometer per hour. Now if he himself is running at a speed of 20 kilometer per hour, then it goes without say that his velocity, that is a 20 kilometer per hour with which he is running, will get added to the velocity of ball, and the resultant velocity of ball will become 120 kilometer per hour. So again, this bowler is stationary. When the bowler is stationary, he is throwing with a speed of 10 meter per second. But if he himself is in motion with a speed of 2 meter per second, then the total velocity of ball will become 12 meter per second. If you are not getting this point, you can imagine this way also. Imagine this is a bus, you are standing above the bus. Now when the bus is stationary, let us imagine you are standing here, not here. Bus is moving in this direction. Initially when it is stationary, you are dropping, or you can say you are throwing a ball with a speed of 10 meter per second. It will hit somewhere over here with a speed of 10 meter per second in horizontal direction. But if the bus is in motion, bus is having a speed of 100 meter per second. Imagine, it's not practically possible. If it is moving with a speed of 100 meter per second, we can say, and if you are throwing at the ball at a speed of 10 meter per second, then the resultant velocity of this ball will become 110 meter per second. This velocity gets added. Okay, this is how the relative velocity goes. Sorry. So over here the case is like this. This is the police car, police van, and this is a car of thief. This is police, this is thief. Okay, speed of police is 8.33, speed of thief is 53.33. The velocity of bullet which is fired from police car is 150 meter per second. You can say yes, bullet is fired at a speed of 150 meter per second. Then we can say the resultant velocity of bullet will become 150 plus 8.33, that is equal to 158.33. This is the total velocity of bullet. This is the velocity of thief. We can say, see, this is just the velocity of bullet, but actually the velocity of bullet will be 158.33. So I will write VBT will be VB, that is actual velocity, minus velocity of thief. That gives the actual velocity is 158.33 minus velocity of thief is 53.33. That will give 105 meter per second. That is our answer. So that was all for today's lecture. In next lecture we will do some more numericals related with relative velocity and different concepts. Okay, so thank you very much.